Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins All World, fellow coin enthusiasts. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that has captured the attention of collectors for decades, the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1963. You may be wondering, how much could a penny from 1963 really be worth? After all, pennies are just small coins that rarely seem to have much value. But what if I told you that a Lincoln penny from 1963, in the right condition, could be worth a whole lot more than you might imagine? Hold on to your hats, because by the end of this video, you'll be shocked to learn just how much this seemingly ordinary penny could actually be worth in today's market. Let's take a deep dive into the history, design, rarity, and value of this iconic coin, and find out why it could fetch up to a staggering $80,000. The Lincoln penny, or as it's officially known, the Lincoln cent, has been in circulation for over a century, and since its introduction in 1909, it has undergone many changes. The 1963 version of this coin, however, holds a special place in American numismatic history. The 1963 Lincoln penny was minted during a time of significant social and political change in the United States. The country was in the midst of the civil rights movement, the space race, and economic transitions, making the year 1963 an important one in American history. As with all Lincoln pennies, the design features President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, on the obverse side, the front, of the coin. This iconic portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner and has remained largely unchanged for more than 100 years. On the reverse side, you'll find the phrase, E pluribus unum, surrounded by two wheat stalks, which was the original design before it was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. In 1963, the coin still featured the wheat stalk design, making it a great piece of history, but it's not just the design that makes the 1963 Lincoln penny special. The composition of the coin is key to understanding its value. Pennies minted before 1982, including the 1963 Lincoln penny, were made primarily of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. This gives the coin a distinct reddish hue that has become characteristic of older pennies. Due to the rising costs of copper and other metals, the U.S. Mint switched to a zinc-based composition in 1982, making the 1963 penny one of the last to contain such a high percentage of copper. This fact alone gives the coin added appeal to collectors who value its metal content. However, the true value of the 1963 Lincoln penny comes not just from its composition, but from its rarity and condition. You see, while millions of Lincoln pennies were minted in 1963, very few of them were kept in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most of the pennies from this year went into circulation and were quickly subjected to the daily wear and tear that most coins experience: scratches, dents, discoloration, and general damage that makes them less valuable to collectors. In fact, the rarity of a well-preserved 1963 Lincoln penny is one of the main reasons it holds such value. Coins that are in excellent condition are highly sought after by collectors, as they are harder to come by. The most valuable 1963 pennies are those that have been carefully stored and preserved, free from the damage that often occurs in circulation. These coins are known as uncirculated or mint state, and their pristine quality makes them stand out in the numismatic world. When evaluating the value of a 1963 Lincoln penny, collectors and experts look at the condition, the amount of wear on the coin, and the specific details of the coin's features. A penny in mint condition will have sharp, clear details, with no visible scratches or discoloration. The Lincoln portrait should be crisp, and the words and design elements should be well defined. If your penny has been kept in excellent condition, you could be looking at a highly valuable coin. In addition to the condition of the coin, there's another important factor that can greatly impact the value of a 1963 Lincoln penny: the mint mark. The U.S. Mint produces coins at several different locations, and each one is identified by a small mint mark. The three primary mint marks for U.S. coins are D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. The 1963 Lincoln penny was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, with the Philadelphia coins typically not carrying any mint mark, while the Denver coins carry the D mint mark. While both types of 1963 pennies are valuable, those with the S mint mark are particularly rare and highly sought after. You might be asking, what's the big deal with the mint mark? Doesn't it just tell you where the coin was made? Well, yes, it does indicate where the coin was struck, but mint marks can also impact the rarity and demand for a particular coin. For example, the Denver minted 1963 pennies are relatively common, while the ones with the San Francisco mint mark are less frequently found. As a result, the 1963 Lincoln penny with an S mint mark is often more valuable than its counterparts, depending on its condition. Now, let's talk about the ultimate question on everyone's mind. What is the actual value of the 1963 Lincoln penny? If you're lucky enough to find a 1963 penny that's in uncirculated or mint state condition, you could be holding onto a coin worth far more than its face value of 1 cent. While most 1963 pennies are worth only a few cents, especially those in worn condition, those in pristine condition can be valued at much higher prices. The 1963 Lincoln penny in mint condition, particularly one with the rare S mint mark, can fetch up to an incredible $80,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $80,000 for a single penny. Of course, the value can vary depending on the specific coin's condition, mint mark, and other factors. But this gives you an idea of just how much a well-preserved 1963 Lincoln penny can be worth. It's a staggering amount for a coin that originally had a face value of just 1 cent, so, what does this mean for you as a coin collector or casual enthusiast? If you have any 1963 Lincoln pennies in your collection, it might be worth taking a closer look at their condition. If you've got a well-preserved coin, you could be holding onto a real treasure. Even if you don't have any, now you know that the 1963 Lincoln penny is one to watch, especially if you come across it in rolls of coins or at garage sales, estate sales, or coin shops. To wrap up, the 1963 Lincoln penny is a fascinating and valuable piece of American history. Its design, composition, and rarity make it an attractive option for collectors looking to add to their collections. And if you're lucky enough to own a high-quality, mint-condition 1963 Lincoln penny, you could be sitting on a coin worth $80,000. What an incredible find! Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. currency, and more specifically, we're going to explore a coin that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. We're talking about the United States Lincoln penny from 1972. While most of us don't think twice about pennies, especially those from the 70s, this particular year holds a hidden treasure that's worth far more than you might expect. So, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll learn just how much a 1972 Lincoln penny can actually be worth, and it's a lot more than 1 cent. At first glance, the 1972 Lincoln penny might seem like just another regular coin. After all, the Lincoln penny, which has been in circulation since 1909, has become one of the most recognized coins in the U.S. The image of Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse side is iconic, while the reverse side showcases the wheat stalks, a design that was used from 1909 to 1958. However, by 1972, the U.S. Mint had already transitioned to a new reverse design featuring the Lincoln Memorial. Still, this coin has something unique about it that sets it apart from the others of its kind. Before we dive into the value of the 1972 penny, let's first talk about its historical context. The 1970s were a transformative time in the U.S. economy and culture. The United States was emerging from the turbulence of the 1960s and heading into the complexities of the 1970s, including the end of the Vietnam War and the beginnings of the Watergate scandal. On the economic side, inflation was on the rise, and the value of metals like copper was fluctuating. As a result, the U.S. Mint had to make adjustments to its coinage, leading to significant changes in the production and composition of coins during this era. The 1972 Lincoln penny was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins from Philadelphia typically don't have any mint mark, while those minted in Denver carry a D mint mark, and those struck in San Francisco feature an S mint mark. While you might think that the mint mark doesn't make a big difference, it actually plays a significant role in determining the value of the coin. Certain mint marks are rarer than others, and this can dramatically impact how much collectors are willing to pay for a particular penny. Now, let's talk about the composition of the 1972 penny. Unlike today's pennies, which are mostly made of zinc, the 1972 penny was made from 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. This high copper content gives the coin its distinct reddish-brown color and weight, which makes it stand out from more modern pennies. As copper prices have increased over the years, many collectors and investors have turned to older, copper-based pennies like the 1972 Lincoln penny as a way to capitalize on the rising value of the metal itself. This has only added to the coin's appeal, especially for those who are looking to buy and sell pennies for profit. But what really makes the 1972 penny so intriguing to collectors is its potential rarity. While millions of pennies were minted that year, not all of them are in perfect condition. Most 1972 pennies were put into circulation and saw heavy use, resulting in worn-down coins with visible scratches, discoloration, and other forms of damage. However, if you're fortunate enough to find one that's been well preserved or, even better, uncirculated, you could be looking at a coin worth much more than its 1 cent face value. Collectors have always been interested in coins that are in excellent condition because these coins retain more of their original value and can fetch a higher price on the market. A well-preserved 1972 penny can be highly sought after, particularly if it has sharp, clear details and little to no wear. These coins are often graded by professionals based on their appearance, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A 1972 Lincoln penny in mint state can easily fetch a premium price, especially if it's been stored carefully and kept free from damage. However, the real treasure in the 1972 Lincoln penny collection lies in those with unique features. For example, one of the most sought-after varieties of the 1972 penny is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin malfunctions, causing the design to be stamped multiple times, creating a double image on the coin. This error, particularly on the 1972 pennies, is one of the most famous and valuable mistakes in numismatic history. The 1972 double die penny is known for its distinctively bold doubling on the word Liberty and the date, 1972, making it easily recognizable. Coins with this error can sell for much higher prices than regular 1972 pennies. Some of these coins have been known to fetch thousands of dollars at auctions, depending on their condition and the degree of the doubling. Other rare 1972 pennies may have minting errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, or missing elements, all of which can add to their value. These unique errors are highly prized by collectors because they are one of a kind, making them incredibly rare and valuable. If you happen to find a 1972 penny with one of these errors, you could be holding a coin that's worth far more than a typical penny. Now, I know you're all probably wondering, how much could a 1972 Lincoln penny actually be worth? Well, here's the exciting part. If you have a 1972 penny in mint condition, or even better, a 1972 penny with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth a significant amount of money. While a standard 1972 penny might only be worth a few cents or $1 or $2 if it's in good condition, the value of a rare, uncirculated, or error-struck 1972 penny can soar to incredible heights. In fact, some of the highest-graded 1972 double-die pennies have sold for upwards of $85,000, yes, you heard that right, $85,000 for a single penny. This is the kind of find that makes coin collectors dream. If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare pennies in your collection, or if you happen to come across one, you could be sitting on a fortune. Even without the double die error, a 1972 penny in mint condition can still fetch a significant sum, especially if it's been carefully preserved over the years. So, the next time you're digging through a jar of old pennies or searching through rolls at a coin shop, keep an eye out for those 1972 Lincoln pennies. They may seem like just another small, everyday coin, but you might be holding onto something truly valuable. The 1972 Lincoln penny, with its rich history, unique features, and potential for incredible value, is a must-have for any serious coin collector. Today, we have a very special coin to talk about, a true gem in the world of U.S. numismatics. We are diving deep into the story of the 1975 Lincoln penny, a seemingly humble 1-cent coin that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. Now, you might be thinking, a penny from 1975? What's so special about that? Well, let me tell you, this penny could be worth a lot more than you think, and by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at just how much it could fetch. Let's start by looking at the context behind the 1975 Lincoln penny. The 1970s were an interesting time for the United States, marked by significant economic changes and cultural shifts. The country was still recovering from the Vietnam War era and the tumult of the 1960s, and as the 70s unfolded, Americans faced the challenge of dealing with inflation and the oil crisis. In the world of coins, the U.S. Mint was going through some transitions as well, with coinage designs and compositions undergoing changes. The 1975 penny falls right in the middle of these transitions. During this period, the Lincoln penny was still being produced with the classic design created by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. For those who may not be aware, the obverse side of the coin features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, which has remained relatively unchanged for over a century. On the reverse, you'll find the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was introduced in 1959 and has been a staple of the penny ever since. This reverse design has its own interesting history, but what makes the 1975 penny truly special are the variations and rare errors that were produced in that year. Before we dive into the value and worth of this penny, let's first talk about the minting process and the significance of the mint mark. The 1975 Lincoln penny was minted at 3 primary U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each of these mints stamped their coins with different mint marks to distinguish where they were produced. The coins minted in Philadelphia typically do not have a mint mark, while those produced in Denver bear a D mint mark, and the ones struck in San Francisco are marked with an S. For collectors, the mint mark is important because it helps determine the rarity of the coin. Typically, pennies with certain mint marks are rarer than others, depending on how many were produced. In the case of the 1975 Lincoln penny, the ones minted in San Francisco are particularly significant. San Francisco mint coins are often associated with proof coins, which are specially struck for collectors and are typically of higher quality. However, it's not just about the mint mark, it's about the condition and any potential errors that could exist on the coin. Now, let's talk about the condition of the 1975 penny. Like many coins, the 1975 penny was widely circulated, meaning that most of them suffered from the wear and tear of everyday use. Over time, these pennies can lose their luster, develop scratches, discoloration, and other imperfections that make them less valuable. However, the real value lies in the pennies that have been carefully preserved or remain in mint condition. A well-maintained penny with no signs of heavy circulation is always going to fetch a higher price, especially when it's a rare year like 1975. But what really sets the 1975 penny apart from others is the possibility of rare minting errors. Some of the 1975 Lincoln pennies were struck with unusual features or defects, making them extremely valuable to collectors. For example, one of the most famous errors in coin collecting history is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts or malfunctions, causing the design to be stamped twice, leading to a doubled image on the coin. A 1975 Lincoln penny with a double die error is highly prized by collectors and can be worth a small fortune. Another notable error associated with the 1975 penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not perfectly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. These types of errors are extremely rare, which is why they are so valuable. An off-center 1975 penny in good condition can fetch thousands of dollars at auction, depending on how significant the misalignment is. In addition to these errors, there are also instances of the 1975 Lincoln penny with die cracks or other minute imperfections that occurred during the minting process. These minor errors might seem small, but in the world of coin collecting, they can dramatically increase the value of a coin, making it worth much more than a typical, circulated penny. So, you may be asking yourself, how much could a 1975 Lincoln penny be worth? Well, let me tell you, the potential value is staggering. If you come across a 1975 penny in pristine condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a coin that's worth a lot more than just a few cents. In fact, depending on its condition and the type of error, a 1975 Lincoln penny can fetch up to $75,000, yes, you heard that right, $75,000 for a single penny. That's an incredible amount of money for such a small coin. Whether it's a double die error or a well-preserved example, the 1975 Lincoln penny holds tremendous value in the world of coin collecting. So, the next time you come across a penny from 1975, don't just dismiss it as spare change. Take a closer look, check the condition, and see if it might be one of those rare treasures that could make you a small fortune. In conclusion, the 1975 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of U.S. currency. It's a piece of history, and it holds significant value for collectors who understand the importance of rarity, condition, and the fascinating world of minting errors. If you're fortunate enough to find one in excellent condition, or if you discover that you have one of these error coins, you could be sitting on an incredibly valuable asset. Today, we have a real treat for you. We're diving deep into the story of one of the most interesting coins in American history, the 1976 Lincoln penny. This seemingly ordinary penny, which has been circulating for decades, might just be worth a lot more than you think. Now, you might be wondering, how could a 1976 penny possibly be worth thousands of dollars? Well, hold on tight, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin has become such a sought-after piece for collectors and how it can fetch a mind-blowing price. So, let's get into the fascinating details of the 1976 Lincoln penny, and trust me, this is going to be a wild ride. Let's start with a little history. The year 1976 was monumental for the United States, marking the bicentennial celebration of the country's independence. The 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence was a momentous occasion that was celebrated in various ways across the nation, and one of those celebrations included the release of special commemorative coins. However, this celebration did not include the Lincoln penny. But that doesn't mean the 1976 penny is any less interesting or valuable in its own right. The design of the Lincoln penny has remained relatively unchanged for over a century, which is quite rare in the world of coinage. First introduced in 1909 by the U.S. Mint, the penny features the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner. This image of Lincoln, which has become synonymous with American currency, has endured through numerous generations and remains one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. On the reverse side of the coin, we have the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, which was first introduced in 1959. While the design of the penny may not have changed drastically in 1976, that doesn't mean the year was insignificant for this particular coin. There are certain features of the 1976 Lincoln penny that make it stand out among other pennies from different years, and these features can have a big impact on its value. One of the key factors that make the 1976 penny worth more than its face value is its rarity, particularly when it comes to certain types of minting errors. You see, like many coins, the 1976 penny was struck in large numbers by the U.S. Mint, and most of them were widely circulated. This means that the majority of 1976 pennies you'll find today are far from pristine. They've been through years of use, collecting wear and tear, and their value has decreased over time. However, some 1976 pennies have survived the years in excellent condition, and these coins are much rarer than you might think. When you find a 1976 penny that is still in mint condition, that's where the real value comes in. Coins that have been well preserved, free from scratches, dents, and other signs of heavy circulation, are much more sought after by collectors. The 1976 penny, in particular, can command a high price if it's in mint or uncirculated condition, and this is where it starts to get interesting. But it's not just about the condition of the coin. There's another factor that can drastically increase the value of a 1976 Lincoln penny: minting errors. Errors in coin production are not uncommon, and when they happen, they can turn an ordinary coin into a rare and valuable collectible. Some of the most desirable errors that can occur on a 1976 penny include off-center strikes, double dies, and incorrect planchets. A double die error, for example, occurs when the coin's design is struck multiple times, resulting in a blurry or doubled image. This kind of error is incredibly rare, and if you happen to come across a 1976 Lincoln penny with a double die, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands of dollars. Another error that can add significant value to a 1976 penny is an off-center strike. This happens when the penny is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. Off-center strikes are very rare and highly prized by collectors, which is why a 1976 penny with this error could be worth a small fortune. Additionally, there's also the possibility of the penny being struck on an incorrect planchet, which is a piece of metal that is used to mint a coin. If a 1976 Lincoln penny was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different coin, such as a dime or a quarter, that error could make the penny extremely valuable. These types of minting errors can result in one-of-a-kind coins that are highly sought after in the numismatic world. The 1976 Lincoln penny also holds a special place because of its historical significance. The bicentennial year was a time of great celebration and pride in American history, and collectors are always on the lookout for coins from such a momentous time. Even though the Lincoln penny itself wasn't specifically designed to commemorate the bicentennial, the fact that it was produced in such an important year makes it even more desirable to collectors. Now, let's get to the fun part, the value. As we've already mentioned, most 1976 pennies are not worth much more than their face value of 1 cent. However, if you happen to come across a 1976 penny in excellent condition, or better yet, one that has a rare minting error, you could be holding a treasure worth a lot more than you might expect. In fact, a 1976 Lincoln penny with the right combination of mint condition and rare errors can sell for a jaw-dropping price. Depending on the rarity of the coin, the quality of its preservation, and the type of error it may have, a 1976 Lincoln penny could be worth up to $83,000. Yes, that's right, $83,000 for a single penny. Imagine the excitement of finding one of these rare coins and realizing that you've struck gold. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or simply a well-preserved, uncirculated example, the 1976 Lincoln penny is a coin that can fetch a serious price at auction. So, the next time you come across a 1976 Lincoln penny in your change, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Check the mint mark, examine the condition, and look for any signs of error. You just might have a coin that could change your financial future. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most fascinating coins from the United States, the 1980 Lincoln penny. It might seem like just another penny, but there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. If you've been a collector for a while or are just starting out, you'll want to stick around because this video will reveal how the 1980 Lincoln penny could actually be worth far more than you might expect. Now, when you think of pennies, you probably think of those small, copper-colored coins that fill up your jar or your wallet, often left to collect dust. After all, a penny is worth only 1 cent, right? But when it comes to rare and valuable coins, the 1980 Lincoln penny has carved out its own unique place in numismatic history. Why, you ask? Well, let's take a deep dive into its history, its design, and the key factors that could make it worth a small fortune. First, let's start with the history of the 1980 Lincoln penny. This was a time when the U.S. economy was in the midst of some significant changes. The country was recovering from a period of high inflation during the 1970s, which had a massive impact on currency and coinage. 1980 was a year marked by economic volatility, with inflation rates soaring, and interest rates reaching record highs. The U.S. Mint continued to produce pennies, despite rising production costs, and the 1980 penny was one of those pieces of currency that reflected the time. The design of the 1980 Lincoln penny, like many pennies before it, remained the same. The obverse side features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Since its introduction in 1909, this image of Lincoln has become one of the most recognizable symbols of American currency. His profile, facing to the right, is a tribute to the 16th president, who led the country through one of its most tumultuous times, the Civil War. On the reverse side of the coin, we find the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial. First introduced in 1959, this design has become a signature feature of the penny. It's not just a beautiful representation of the memorial in Washington, D.C., it's a tribute to Lincoln's legacy and the values he stood for: freedom, unity, and equality. For many, the Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it's a piece of history that connects us to the past. So, if the 1980 penny looks very similar to the ones that came before it, why is it so special? Well, the secret lies in its rarity, its condition, and, of course, the possibility of certain minting errors. While most of the 1980 pennies that were produced by the U.S. Mint are still out there in circulation, you may come across a rare one that's worth much more than a simple penny. A well-preserved 1980 Lincoln penny, or one with a minting error, can attract a great deal of interest from coin collectors. Let's talk about minting errors for a moment. As with many other coins, errors during the minting process can turn an ordinary penny into a highly valuable collectible. There are several types of minting errors that can make a 1980 Lincoln penny worth thousands of dollars. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die. A double die error occurs when the coin is struck multiple times, causing the design to appear slightly doubled or blurry. This can happen when the die used to strike the coin is not properly aligned, leading to a misalignment of the design. If you happen to find a 1980 penny with a double die error, you may have just discovered a hidden gem. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the penny is not properly aligned during the minting process, and part of the design is missing or shifted. Off-center strikes are rare, and they are highly valued by collectors because they make each coin unique. So, if you find a 1980 penny with an off-center strike, it could be worth a significant amount more than its face value. In addition to these types of minting errors, there's also the possibility of a 1980 penny being struck on the wrong planchet. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that gets struck to create a coin. If the 1980 Lincoln penny was mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for a different coin, such as a dime or quarter, it could be a very valuable error coin. These types of planchet errors are incredibly rare and are highly sought after by collectors. Now, let's get to the real question: how much is a 1980 Lincoln penny worth? Well, the value of a typical 1980 penny in average circulated condition is very close to its face value, just 1 cent. However, if the penny is in uncirculated condition, it could be worth a few dollars. But when you factor in rare minting errors, the value skyrockets. A well-preserved 1980 penny with an error, such as a double die or off-center strike, could be worth thousands of dollars, depending on its rarity and condition. But what if you're holding a truly exceptional 1980 penny? What if it's one of those rare examples that has been perfectly preserved or features a highly sought-after minting error? In that case, you could be holding a coin worth $87,000. Yes, you heard that right, $87,000. That's the kind of value a 1980 Lincoln penny can command in the right market. Imagine finding a penny worth that much just sitting in your pocket change. It's a rare occurrence, but for those lucky enough to find it, it's nothing short of a small fortune. The 1980 Lincoln penny is an example of how even the most common-looking coins can be surprisingly valuable. It serves as a reminder that there are treasures hidden all around us, and with a keen eye and a little bit of knowledge, you could discover a coin that changes your life. So, the next time you come across a 1980 Lincoln penny, don't just brush it off. Take a moment to examine it carefully. Look for any signs of minting errors, check its condition, and if you think you might have found something special, get it appraised by a professional. It could be worth much more than you ever imagined. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed learning all about the 1980 Lincoln penny and its hidden value. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to learn more about rare and valuable coins. Who knows? Your next penny could be worth $87,000. Keep collecting and happy hunting.